All righty. Shout out to this here Victory Tuesday. As we are recording this day, man, following the Steelers' Monday night victory, 28-15 versus the Miami Dolphins. And, of course, I am joined right now by my awesome panel, talking about TaNeisha from Really Flawed Football and the WRAL Channel 5 producer in Raleigh, North Carolina, Mark Bergin. How are we feeling, people? How are we feeling?
You know, I'm feeling great. Yeah, and just so everybody knows, we're recording this the morning after, so we have had time to sleep, which usually we're like, no, and this. So I woke up this morning, I was like, I could talk about the Steelers win. So I feel great. How about you, Mark?
We saw Mike Tomlin do something last night that he has never done before in his tenure as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is going for it on 3 times on fourth down in the first half. We've never seen that before. I thought that aggressiveness was a big component of the Steelers' win, considering the offense did not play all that well in the first half. But Steelers took care of business against a Miami Dolphins team that is, simply put, not very good. We'll get into it, but that was my first takeaway, where it was like, I really felt that Mike Tomlin gave Pittsburgh an advantage on Monday Night Football.
Wait, so you're saying coaching? We got a coaching advantage?
Hey, you know what that sounds like? I got it, Mark. It sounds like we just had the top 10 most wins in the regular season in NFL history. That type of coach have a performance last night. 191 career wins is what you're telling me took place last night, passing Dan Reeves officially in that 10th spot, and only 2 more regular season wins behind Chuck No. Whoa. Yeah, man, it was a lot going on, man. It was a lot going on. For me, man, I agree with you, Mark. Coaching definitely had a big impact, man, in terms of having the guys ready, in terms of being aggressive, right? Changing it up. Something that we always complain about at times. But we got that out of this. And it also felt like the identity that we've been trying to have in terms of running the football, in terms of playing with these tight ends, in terms of being big bullies, we actually executed it. That was the part for me offensively that I really enjoyed, but also piggybacking on what you said, it did take it to the second half. But when you saw it click, it was like, oh, okay, all right, this is refreshing right here. So definitely needed that. But in terms of the actual win, right, for you guys, and we'll start with you, TaNeisha, what would you say was some of the key things that, yeah, this is why we won to you?
I think we were able to run the football. I think when they realized also their running attack wasn't working, they had to rely on Tua. And anytime you have to rely on Tua to win a game, chances are it's going to be a little harder. Let me just say that. And so, and I'll just say the obvious. I think they were cold. I think they were fine at first. And then as that game kind of went on, you could see, the tackling was kind of more of like a shoulder, or more of like a little push, or like not as low as they were getting before. And I think that whether you can do all you want to do, you can run around in shorts, t-shirts, cutoffs, no shirts. It doesn't matter. It is cold. There's nothing you can do about it. And that poor defense was out there for so long. So I think the Steelers dominated them. And I'm okay saying that because it doesn't happen very often. So I think everything just worked. And I think when they realized that they couldn't run the ball, they were like, uh-oh.
At least in the second half, I'm with you, TaNeisha, because first half, the Steelers had 27 yards rushing. Second half, that total was 108. The Dolphins on an 0-14 streak in games where it is below 40 degrees, and that's 40 degrees Fahrenheit, not 40 degrees Celsius. Welcome into all of our international listeners here on the Arthur Moats Experience. And it's also getting creative. It's the first time in NFL history where 2 tight ends had rushing touchdowns in a game. Connor Hayward, Jonnu Smith did not have that on my bingo card. So when you talk about those things, I know people can get frustrated with Arthur Smith and his play calling and a stagnant offense. He's got to use the ingredients that he has as a chef to put it all together. And certainly he's had to get creative considering the playmakers that the Steelers have or lack thereof outside of DK Metcalf, but then also coupled and compounded by the fact that the Steelers have injuries on the left side of the offensive line. Isaac Seumalo left the game with an injury. Dylan Cook getting his first start at the left tackle position in place for an injured Broderick Jones. So when you consider all of these things, and when Pittsburgh finally got it rolling, end of the first half and then 2 touchdowns to start the third quarter, it was the first time the Steelers have scored 3 touchdowns on 3 consecutive drives this season. So finally starting to put it together. I don't have a lot of great things to say about the Dolphins because we're talking about an organization that hasn't won a playoff game since December the 30th, 2000. So Mike McDaniel might be on his way out. We'll see if he sticks around. Remember, Tyreek Hill didn't play last night either because of his injury. But I want to go on record saying this as well while I was watching this game. I don't want Tua Tagovailoa as a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback when he becomes a free agent and leaves Miami here down the road.
No, why are you against Tua being our quarterback if he leaves Miami down the road? I mean, at one point we were tanking for Tua, if I remember correctly. Like is that no longer a thing? We are already officially off of the Tua sweepstakes?
Who said that?
I don't want him.
Yeah. But one thing I will say is this, though, right? As, you know, I hear what you're saying, Mark, in terms of the Dolphins. We can downplay them all we want. They were on a 4-game winning streak where they had scored 20 to 30 plus points multiple times, had ran the ball for 130 plus, they ignored 200 plus yards just a week ago, beat the brakes off the Jets to the point where you ain't even really have to play anybody in the second half. So I get all of that. But just 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Boer Renegade firing Coach T.
Yep.
The conversations around the Dolphins leading into this game where maybe they can catch something and maybe get into this postseason because they're hot words for us. We know what the conversations have been. So that's my only grievance with that. It's like, yeah, I hear all of that, but we know the thing that the Dolphins have done extremely well during that 4-game winning streak also is run the football. And one of the biggest concerns that the Steelers have had defensively is stopping the run. And that was the big question. That was the big, hey, can we do this? What's that going to be? And even without TJ and all of the other things that we had to deal with, it was like, yo, they smashed the run. One of our first times all season where we actually outran them definitively. It was like, yo, not just statistically, but we could even watch it and feel it. So I can't personally look at the Dolphins and poo-poo. I'm like, nah, they was just on a 4-game winning streak that included the Buffalo Bills as well. And to add to this, what were they doing in terms of scoring points, right? When we talk about, they were scoring points and they were stopping people, and our defense had them to 3 points. Shoot, I think you even led off with one of your videos talking about how they start off so fast and how they usually score out the gate. None of that happened. So I'm just like, yo, I got to acknowledge that part because coming into this game, there was a very different energy surrounding that Dolphins team.
I'm with TaNeisha, though. Let me hop in really quickly here, though. I was finding it in my notes. Tua's 0-6 as a starter when it's 40 degrees or colder. That's not a recipe for success in Pittsburgh. So I think TaNeisha hit it on the head exactly where I could see all the social media videos of them going out and practicing in the Pittsburgh snow and the
Shout
cold,
out to Robert
shirtless.
Morris University, man. Yeah.
But you know, it doesn't matter when the results are what they are. So I think TaNeisha hit it on the head where it's like in games where it's 40 degrees or colder, this team has not performed. It's as simple as that.
And I think it's also important to acknowledge just as well with they're saying that 40 degrees or below. Just a week ago, they made such a big deal about the Dolphins going up to New Jersey to play the Jets with it being cold, and they were able to whoop them. So I get that also, but we know what just a week was when they went into New York / New Jersey and did what they did to the Jets, and it was cold. It technically wasn't 40, but it was still snow on the ground. It was still chilly. And they made such a big emphasis of, look, they're doing it in the cold weather now, that was also why them dropping that video, intentional. Shout out to them. They went to that's my daughter's college. That's the campus. That's the field where they was on. So I was like, hey, shout out. I get tuition there. I like y'all.
I think the other thing is too is anytime you shut down what the team does really well, and we heard, I mean, I don't know about you all, but I was seeing it everywhere. Like their run game, we're not going to South run. They have the best center in the NFL. I mean, there were all of these like random things that were being thrown out there. And then when the game starts, you kind of see it. You're like, oh, okay, this is what they want to do. This is what they're going to do. And I think I even said they're sexy, right? They do things on offense where you're like, okay, I can get mesmerized by some of this because it does look good. But Tua is still Tua. And it just doesn't quite work whenever you have a defense that's ready to go. And I think that I don't often give coaches great game moments because I'm like, it's literally your job to get your team ready to go and they need to respond. I felt like this game, the Steelers defense was like, we've got this. Like, we are locked in. We are focused. It took the offense a little bit to get going, which I kind of expect. We'll talk about that in a second. But I feel like this was a Steelers game for me, and I love that. And it was like, I think I tweeted at halftime, it's 7-3, we got them right where we want them. It's like I love those games where it's like teams that usually play well in the first half, when they don't against us, I'm like, perfect. This is right where we want to be. We're going to make them do something they don't want to do. And so I love that for who we are, because I think I think last night is who the Steelers are. The defense holds, offense, come on, figure it out. And then when they do, you're like, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is great. So I was just impressed that they were that ready to go. We only had to hear TJ Watt's name, once or twice? Mm-hmm. Usually that's all we hear when he doesn't play. All we hear, it's because they can't tackle him because TJ Watt's not out there. They can only tackle when TJ's out there. And it's like, we didn't even hear that last night.
No, facts on that. And that was also very refreshing. But speaking with the defense, Mark, what were some of the things that stood out to you from the Steelers defensively? Like I said, versus a Dolphins team that had just put up 30-plus points against that Jets just a week ago.
All right, so let's start here. Steelers win the takeaway battle 1-0, and it was just 1-0. But Asante Samuel, welcome to Pittsburgh. His first interception as a member of the Steelers. So you had that compounded by Pittsburgh didn't turn the ball over. And it should have been 2. So this is where we could talk about the Dolphins offense and the running game. They haven't asked Tua to do a lot during that 4-game winning streak going into this game. And you're talking about Tua, who now is a career high with 15 interceptions that leads the NFL. And it should have been 2 if Alex Highsmith can hang on. I swear it's tougher to catch it from a lefty. Just reverse the jugs machine around.
It's busy.
And I think that's the only reason why he dropped it, because he was in the right position. If that's a right-handed quarterback, that's an interception by Highsmith. But because you don't typically go up against a lefty, that rotation's just a little bit different in your brain. And so to me, winning the takeaway battle was huge. And then even despite Pittsburgh's struggles offensively in the first half, they're able to overcome that, where I'm going to go back to this. I'm on a broken record. If you've watched to any point in this week, the Steelers won time of possession in this game.
Let's go. I was waiting on it, Mark. I'm mad it took 13 minutes for you to bring up time of possession. I'm mad about that, man. No, not you. You supposed to. I led off with Coach Tomlin. I'm going to stay true to me. You supposed to stay true to your time of possession, man. All right? Come on.
33 minutes and 33 seconds for Pittsburgh. And so you see what that does over the course of a game when your offense can almost serve as a defense, because your offense is out on the field sustaining drives. Your defense is on the sidelines drinking Gatorade, drinking the sweet nectar of the gods while it's freezing cold. You're just trying to stay warm.
Hey, look, the best defense is the one that gets to steal the sideline. Everybody knows that one, right? And I'm so glad that you brought that up, though, in terms of Asante Samuel, in terms of just this physical unit that we saw last night, man. I thought that was one of the things that really stood out as well. But, TaNeisha, I don't want to jump in before you get in here, all right?
You're fine.
You know we got to ask you, all right? Because it's just when he says certain things, I'm like, ooh.
You're fired up.
Yeah, it's just certain words. I'm just like, that's what I needed to hear right there. You speak my language, baby. You speak my language. But, TaNeisha, defensively, what was standing out to you last night?
I thought the entire defense played on a string. If one person, it was like they were doing the perfect dance last night. They were all moving in the same direction. If they needed a shift, they were all shifting. I didn't see a lot of moments where somebody's hopping around and being like, all the crazy that sometimes happens. I thought that they were, this defense had one of the most complete games I've seen in a long time. And I thought it was from kickoff. And even in the trash time, I don't like to call it trash time because it's like not fair, but it is kind of trash time because like they're not going to win this game. Even then, because again, I'm going back to the Vikings because I remember when we played the Vikings and I was like, oh gosh, here we go with this crap, blown coverage, this and that. This game, they like stayed true. And I thought the defense played impeccable. Like, I just thought they did everything they needed to do and more. And I think that's amazing. I mean, 63 rushing yards for that Miami offense. Like, the defense, shout out to the defense. Like, that is what I want to see. Just consistency all the way around. You give a little, you literally take a little. I thought they played well. I thought every single one of them had a moment where I was like, okay, Ramsey, okay, Highsmith, oh, Wilson. Like, it was like everybody was kind of contributing, and I loved it. I thought they looked great last night.
No, and I'm glad you brought up the rushing total as well. Not only, for a team, right? This is one of their lowest rushing outputs over the past, 6-7 weeks. But more importantly, when we talk about A-Chain, right? We know that that's one of the top rushers running the football. Everybody's excited about him and gets all enamored. The 63 yards that he had was his lowest rushing total since week 5 of this season. Like, just to also put emphasis on what we did versus this rushing attack, and specifically this back, he has been hot. He has been having a year. He's a good running back, and we even saw glimpses of it last night. We were just able to get it down before it all the way turned the corner. It was a couple of those runs. I'm like, all right, now don't play with me today. Don't you do that, because he can go. But I thought that was important. The other thing that I thought was the way that we were creating pressure onto it. Mark, you had said it earlier, right? It's like, man, they haven't really had to ask Tua to do a lot during this winning span. It's been heavy running the football, even going back to that Bills game, right? It was like, yo, they couldn't stop the run. And that was kind of their recipe. But to see that, okay, we were able to actually execute something that we had planned in terms of stopping the run and making them one-dimensional. And you could see where Tua's still at this stage as that's $100 million quarterback. Remember that, right? That's not a rookie. That's not a low-end free agent signing. That is $100 million quarterback.
Wait, I think just for 200.
Yes. I throw the 100 out there because I think it was the guarantee portion. But like just for emphasis, it's like we can minimize to all we want. Tua is still better than a lot of other quarterbacks walking around. But you see what the pressure does to a player like that. How often he was holding the football, and we're all looking like, hey, bro, you got the grenade in your hand. You might want to throw it. You do see Jalen Ramsey behind you. Why would you do that? It's like, yo, what are you doing to her? You trying to get yourself hurt tonight? Like, that was how I was perceiving it at times. But that's what happens when there's pressure on those players. And even a quarterback like Tua, you could just see the difference of Tua compared to Rodgers. And that's why it's like, man, this is the hardest position to play. It's the most challenging because all of the different variables that go into it. But for us to be able to impact Tua the way that we did, I was really just impressed with that because, like I said, the Dolphins offense, man, they had been hot.
Here's the thing. You can stop the run with A-Chan, and then, okay, you put the onus on Tua. Jalen Waddle's a fine receiver. Dulcich, I remember out of the draft, really liked him at the tight end position, but with Tyreek Hill
Darren Waller's another guy too.
Yeah, Waller. So they have some weapons, but with Tyreek Hill out, that changes things drastically with this Dolphins offense, and it has to be just perfect and just right for Tua to get going. And so, yes, I'm excited about that Steelers win last night, but to me, short of that winning streak, which might help Mike McDaniel salvage his job, it's just they haven't gotten done what they needed to have gotten done in his tenure. And that's, again, to finally win a playoff game. Like, this is where, if you're a Steelers fan, you say the grass isn't always greener because you're looking at a Dolphins organization, again, that has not won a playoff game since December the 30th, 2000. This is a quarter century. That is
You said 2000? Did you say 2000?
2000. It's been a long, long time.
You said they about to be on it. They could fire this head coach, and that'd be like 2 fire head coaches in the past, 5 years, 7 years? Is that what you're telling me too?
So,
all right.
I just, for me, here's the thing too. It's like all of Tua's interceptions have come against zone defense as well. So it's like clearly the book is out on him. You're laughing, Arthur, but this is true.
It's the truth. That's why I'm laughing, because it's so true. I'm like, yo, he can't read it. It's like he guesses or predetermines. It's like the Asante Samuel pick, it hits him literally in the TaNeisha. What did we say before? I say, if you just catch the ones that they throw this week, you'll be fine. Yeah. It's going to hit you in the face with it. Literally. Yeah. You said 2 picks. I'm pissed because we should have had the third one, JPJ, at the end.
What was
I'm like, bro, that's for your pops. He
His hands
inducted
don't
to the
work.
Hall of Honor. We need that for Pops. Come on, man. I was hot, man.
All right, so we can all agree then. I think the consensus, if Tua had been right-handed, he'd have had 3 interceptions last night.
Yeah. It's funny to me, Mark, to hear you like. It's interesting to hear how people lessen certain teams pending results of certain games. Because I feel like, and it's not just you, Mark. I watched a ton this week about how bad Miami was going to beat the Steelers. They were going to run all over them, and it was, hopefully the Steelers can hang on. And oh gosh, now they don't have T.J. Watt. They're going to be so bad, and this could get ugly, and and on and on and on. And then last night it was like all of a sudden everybody was like, "Oh, the Steelers, they look for real. They look serious." And I was like, "What about? Wait, all week that's not y'all said. Wait, y'all said." That easily they were probably going to get about 120 to 150 yards. They were going to be able to sustain drives, and that was going to impact Pittsburgh because they were old. And because now playing without TJ Watt, it was going to wear down on the Steelers, and Miami was going to win the game. And so I'm like, cool. But then when it doesn't happen, now the fix is, oh, well, y'all know Tua's not that great. Come on. Like, okay, yeah, the center is one of the best in the NFL, but guys, he's not that good against that defense. And, the running back is great, but did you see the teams they played? And I'm kind of like, well, where was that before when you didn't pick us to win the game? So
they held the Bills to 13 points during that span. It's like defensively they were playing well.
My thing is the Dolphins, the last 4 or 5 games, in the first half of games, they have been, and I've said this in our victory formation thing, they have been making teams play differently in the second half because they've been coming out, scoring points, putting points on the board. I think last week they had 21 points up in the first quarter. The week before that, I think they had scored 10 points. My point is I feel like after the game is over, we're always like, yeah, but they weren't that good. So it's either they weren't that good or the Steelers are a little bit better than we want to give them credit for. We're just scared to say it. So we're just not sure. We're just not ready. And so it's I don't understand what it is. Is it that we don't think the Steelers are very good, or we don't think something, both things can't be true. Are we the Dolphins or are we the Steelers? Are we good or are we bad? Are we average or are they're terrible? So that means we're average. I don't know where we sit. And I get confused on who, so does this mean we're not good? I don't know what's going on.
I just don't. Here's where I'm at. I don't take a ton of stock in this for Pittsburgh's sake because, yes, Miami was on a 4-game winning streak, but during that 4-game winning streak, averaging 192 yards rushing, 5.7 yards a carry. Okay, credit Pittsburgh's defense for shutting that down last night. I don't have the stat in front of me of how much less they didn't. They weren't asking Tua to do a whole lot during that 4-game winning streak. In fact, I would even argue that they didn't want the ball in his hands. So when you reverse that, and this is where I know Mike Tomlin says style points don't matter, but sometimes they do. My point is that to be a successful team when it comes to January football, when you get closer and closer to the postseason, you have to be able to win a multitude of ways of, okay, this team is taking what you want to establish. So in this case, Miami's running game away. What is your counter? And last night, Tua couldn't do that. Should have had multiple interceptions. And Arthur, I also think you bring up a great point when you compare and contrast how Tua played compared to Aaron Rodgers. And yes, I am frustrated by the fact that the Steelers could only muster 7 points in the first half. But Rodgers had 4 incompletions for the entire game. You look at that and you compare Rodgers' play compared to Tua's play. And to me, it's night and day. And when you see them going back and forth on drives, it is just evident, it is clear as day to me, the difference between the two quarterbacks.
Well, shoot, one's about to be a future Hall of Famer, baby. And I'm with you on that. And that's why even old Aaron Rodgers, you're like, bro, old Aaron Rodgers still, if he's healthy enough to be out there, man, the dude can still read defenses. And obviously, we saw he still has just enough juice because that touchdown pass to DK, I watched that play a couple of times this morning. I'm like, how does this dude not make this play? How does he not pick this off? Rodgers to be isn't even looking at him. And I'm just like, yo, it's a heck of a break, but he got the arm strength still. And that's the other impressive part. I just felt like specifically when we're talking Rodgers and Tua, the past 4 weeks during this winning streak, like you said, Mark, Tua has been the guy they've taken the ball out of his hands and said, man, on occasion, make a play or two. Whereas for us, I say, man, these past 2 games, it's been more of Rodgers connecting with some of those passes down the grass that have really opened up the rest of this offense. Last week, it was the beginning of the game, right? It was the first play we hit in DK. Then we started to do that. This week, it was, okay, slow burn, but then you started to see move in the middle of the field. You hit MVS over the deep crosser. You obviously hit the DK touchdown pass, but that pass is caught on the hash. That's middle of the field. And it was just, okay, but we still stayed with what? Man, we're still going to hit your, game what had the most targets, right? 7 targets, 7 catches. So we still didn't get too far away from what we like to do. But to me, that's been this biggest difference when you're watching both of those quarterbacks. Last night, Tua didn't hit enough of those down the grass shots. Rodgers did. And over our past 2 games, that's what Rodgers has been heating up and doing more of. And I feel a lot more confident in us sustaining that versus like what you're talking about with the Dolphins, whereas, hey, how many more weeks can we win without putting the ball into his hand? We've shown where we can win games when it doesn't have to be Rodgers playing his absolute best, but we know that gives us our best chance to win. But to me, we haven't seen the Dolphins where Tua has to go out there and really get it done and show that with consistency. But my only part before I finish that part is this. Just because everybody knows that Tua can't throw it and he doesn't, have a lot of success with that, you still have to be able to stop them. You still have to be able to force them to be one-dimensional, because the Jets knew the same thing that me, you, and TaNeisha are talking about right now. The Bills for certain knew that, right? Saints knew that as well. We can go down the list. Every team that they've beaten has known that. Nothing is new. But you still have to be able to stop it. You still have to be able to force them to do that. And we're the only team over these past 5 games that have done that. So once again, that's the part where I'm just like, yeah, man, I got to tip that cap once again, because that isn't easy to do.
And Miami needed this game to continue to be in the hunt on the outside looking in for the playoffs, where it's like maybe the Dolphins could backdoor their way into the playoffs. No. TaNeisha, hop in. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I think sometimes too, you're harder on your team than you are on everybody else. Like, we will clamor on them for losses, but in wins, we're kind of like, well, they won, and it's like, no, they won. Like, I just don't feel like we celebrate the wins as much as we knock the losses. And so sometimes it's like getting a win is getting a win. Like, getting a win is moving us where we're trying to get to. And we have to stay on course and we have to stay on track. And I feel like too, this whole season, it's like everyone's almost waiting for us to lose. And so when we win, the win isn't good enough because whatever reason. And so, I mean, we've got 3 games left, 3 really big games, depending on how you look at it, and health and all the things. And it's like, I feel like we are playing very good football right now. And I think, Mark, you said before, when we lost to the Bears, you're like, that's okay. December 1st is right around the corner, and it's like, and we are there. And so I think the Steelers team I saw last night, I like them. I want them to stay a while. Does that mean that I have to be a little bit patient on offense? Fine. I'll be a little bit patient on offense. But does that mean eventually you're going to figure it out? Great. Because I feel like there was times in the season where I was like, I don't think they're ever going to, I don't know what this is. Like, this is just awful. And then I think from taking the Ravens to now the Dolphins, our offensive weapons have been different. And I think that's been interesting. We have, the old guy that we signed, MVS just happens to score a touchdown. Like, shame on him. He's so old. I can't even believe the Steelers won him. It's ridiculous. And then you have the other old guy coming off of surgery. I can't believe Samuel, caught the ball. Like, what an old guy. It's like, come on, guys. Like, this is what we're supposed to do. This is why we want those guys, is to make plays and to step up. And shout out Highsmith being on the field when TJ Watt can't be, the guy that everybody wanted to trade. So it's like, this is how it's supposed to work. This is what's supposed to be happening.
Hey, and shout out the age as well, man. We're not calling any of our players old. I saw an old Phillip Rivers throw a touchdown pass. All right. I don't know what y'all did on Sunday. I was watching janky football. I wanted to watch that 44-year-old non-cursing son of a gun go out there and throw a dadgummit. All right. So don't you be talking about our players, okay? We're very young, very young. Okay, we're very young.
Old. Yeah. They said they were old and washed. I very like we were getting old and washed players. Like I remember seeing it.
Well, and I would even piggyback and say this, right? Last week versus Baltimore, we scored 27 points, right?
Yep.
That Cincinnati Bengals offense, right? It's a lot of money on that offense, a lot of talent on that offense. How many points did they just score this past week versus that same Ravens defense? Because it was a gotta have a game for them too. They had to win this one. It was like, yo, you hot, you got to figure it out, man. All the money, let's go. What's Goose say? 0 points.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I know Arthur Smith. I know everybody. You the fire guy. I know, but you hold it down for us, Arthurs, right now. All right, you are fighting and holding it down in the midst of the adversity. That's all I'm saying, man. Because it can't be that every team plays great versus all these other teams, and then when it's versus us, oh, now suddenly suck. You know what I mean? Ravens defense ain't just also forget how to play versus us, and then they remember how to play versus the Bengals. No. Dolphins defense didn't block out and whoop 4 teams in a row and then forget to play versus. No. So that's the part where when you were asking earlier, TaNeisha, hey, are we a good team or are we the Dolphins? What are we? I still hold the course of, yes, we are a good team. Can we be more consistent? That's been our biggest issue. We go back to the Bears game, right? We go to the Seahawks game. We could go down. The Packers game was probably the only game where we all were like, yeah, man. And even with that, it was like, yo, we was winning to the fourth quarter with that one. Then we look at the Chargers when it's like, all right, Chargers won. Then definitely Chargers won. But there aren't a lot of games where we're just like, yeah, flat out, man, they whooped us. And the teams that we are naming, what did the Chargers just do to the Chiefs?
Yeah.
What are we saying with the Packers now? We know Parsons got hurt. Shout out to him, right? Hopefully speedy recovery. But it's like, yo, we're not the Seahawks. We're not naming teams. We're not naming teams that are like trash this year. We naming teams that are actually competing, actually making noise, right? So I just think that the way that we view some of these other teams pre-game, like we'll just be like, yo, they suck because of whatever the history was. And it's like, no, man, these are actually good teams. We're playing good ball. We just still have to be more consistent, but we are right where we need to be. We're right there. It's right there. And we're seeing glimpses of it, right? First half last week offensively, second half offensively this week, right? So you can see we're starting to come together defensively, right? All season we've been looking for dominant defense, highest paid defense production. These past 2 games, it's like, okay, you guys are starting to look like the highest paid defense. You guys are starting to play like you got depth. When I'm watching Jack Sawyer come in the game, when I'm watching Peyton Wilson sub out, and then Malik Harrison is coming and making plays. You talked about Highsmith. Heck, what about, and I got to pull his name up because I know for goodness I'm going to butcher it. No, we're not 93 in him. No. When you get a sack in prime time, I'm talking about Azezi Adamiwo. Yes, indeed. Yeah. When you get a sack on Monday Night Football, your name gets dropped, player. For sure. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. But that's what it's supposed to. I wanted to feel like we had depth. I wanted to feel like we got a plethora of playmakers. Asante Samuel Jr. It's like, yeah, we just signed that dude a couple weeks ago too, bro. But once again, this is top down, right? Terrell Austin. Can you make it where guys can come in here and still play fast? Can you put guys in position to make plays? And less is more at times. All season, early on, the complaint has been, it's too simple. What do you think they're running at this stage? Simple. It's just the window dressing, that's it. But these are all calls where these guys are able to have vision on quarterback or they're locked in on their man. It is very simple, but the guys are playing like they're supposed to. And I think it was JPJ prior to the game had said, Coach Thomas said that this is a money game. And what he means is if you're a money player, if you're an A player, if you're one of them second contract guys, the conversations we've been having all year, right? It's like, yeah, these are the times where you have to step up. You can't be a second contract guy, high-end draft pick guy, a marquee guy on this squad and be quiet in the game like last night, man. And it was good that they weren't, man. All the dudes that are second or guys that we look and say, yeah, we value him, whether it was Gainwell, DK, Jonnu Smith, Moof, right? We talk about Rodgers. Heck, people complain about why is Connor Hayward on the roster? Even he was holding his weight, right? We talk about on defense, Killer Cam Hayward, the captain, right? 91 career sacks also, man. That's future Hall of Fame talk right there, right? Jalen Ramsey, you saw the type of energy he was on. Asante Samuel getting the pick. And I'm so happy he ain't destroyed my man Darren Waller's knee. Lord have mercy. Had me about to just throw up over there. Whoo, child. But it's like Patrick Queen, another guy that these are investments. This is money spent. But all of those guys that I'm naming made plays. all of them. And that's what it has to be when you're in December and going forward in order for this team to break that curse of last playoff win being in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers said it in the post game, saying that he felt like this was the first time all season where all three phases showed up and played complementary football. And it's a cliche, but I thought Pittsburgh did that when you look at the final results of the game. Let me know when you two are ready. I've got two half-baked questions today. Mark Bergin's half-baked Steelers questions.
We're going to get to the half-baked, but before we get to the half-baked, I wanted to ask you offensively real quick, though. Just a couple of things for each of y'all. What stood out to you? Mark, you hit this one first since we're on offense. And then, TaNeisha, I know you're going to get it off your chest because you've been on their head all year, all right? Mark been on time possession. You've been on this offense all year, all right? So, Mark, you get it off first. And it's on you, TaNeisha.
Sure. To me, Rodgers only 4 incompletions. I credit Arthur Smith as well for getting creative. Again, when I look at something that's never happened in NFL history before, when you have 2 different tight ends have rushing touchdowns, he's putting together, it's like, he's got some bread and a bologna sandwich to put everything together and to make a gourmet meal. In all honesty, he has to use the play. That's not a knock on any of Pittsburgh's players, but what I mean by that is, outside of DK, who are your true playmakers on offense? Welcome back to the fold, Pat Freiermuth. I thought that was nice to see him get targets, 3 catches on 5 targets, to see him move the ball over the middle. And then I want to talk about, Arthur, you mentioned the pass to DK on that touchdown, but the refusal to be tackled by DK Metcalf. I didn't realize his middle name was Yak, and that's yards after catch. Unbelievable play. Great play by
baby.
DK Metcalf. Yeah.
That man had a family he threw too.
Hey, look.
Like, he was just like, get off me. I was like, oh.
The fact that it was who it was as well. That was the other part. I'm like, I know that jersey number. Whoa. It's like, all right, okay. I see we trying to send messages to let everybody know who we are versus who they are. I said, all right. Yeah. I can definitely dig that. Definitely can dig that. But TaNeisha, how was you feeling?
I was proud of this offense. And it all started with that offensive line that I told you all last week. I was like, I don't know. I kind of like this offensive line. I kind of like how they look. Shout out to the left tackle. I could not think of his name. I know he's number 60. I'm so bad with names.
Dylan
Cook.
Yes. Like I thought the Steelers offense went as far as that offensive line took them last night. The offensive line is what gave them time to go to do things. The offensive line is what allowed those toss plays to work, and like they worked. They were getting blocked up. When Johnny Smith scored on that, I was like, first of all, it's a toss play. Second of all, it's to the freaking tight end. I hate toss plays to the tight end, but whatever. So yeah, one thing that popped for me is I thought the offensive line looked great, and so that was nice to see. And then, like you all said, I think it's nice to see our offense using all the weapons. It's all I've been yelling for. Throw it to the bigger guys. We got big guys. Let them run down the field. Throw it to them. Like, let's see what we can do down the field. I feel like so many times we live, and I think Rodgers said, he was like, yeah, at first I kind of had to do like a little bit of dink and dunk to kind of figure out, how the feel of the game. And then once we kind of figured it out, and I'm like, yes, I want to see that every week. Like, I need to see that every week, whatever it takes. So I was proud of this offense. I was actually proud. There was a moment where I thought, oh, okay. All right, guys. And touchdowns, not field goals, touchdowns. 28 points, 4 touchdowns. I loved it. I thought it was great. Now, if I have to deal with the lull for a little bit, I'll deal with the lull if that means we're going to score 3 back-to-back touchdowns. I won't even complain.
No, shout out to you both. Obviously, man, when you talk about cooking with the ingredients that you have, right? Jonnu Smith. That was big, putting him in the backfield. This is something that Arthur Smith has been doing in Atlanta with Jonnu Smith and even in Tennessee with Jonnu Smith. He loved the toss play. And remember, we joked about it, TaNeisha, a couple of weeks ago, and I told you, he scored a touchdown just like what he just did. It looked just like that, but it was further out. So, this play is never going away now. All right, just so all of us are aware, the toss play is forever goated in the Arthur Smith playbook. He's scored with the tight end to the toss to the boundary at 3 different stops now along the way, okay? I hate it, but such is life, okay? Next up, though, when we talk about, being able to have this slow burn first half where he's dinking and dunking, people are back and forth on it, right? Because everybody wants to feel the confidence of we're up, we're big, we're secure, everything is fine. But every game is different. Some games you could come out and right out the gate take a couple deep shots. Other games, it's, man, fill this thing out. Run this football, protect the football early on, and let's just see the flow of the game. Because there is nothing worse as a player than you go out there and you do dumb stuff to just be aggressive for the sake of being aggressive, and now we're in a whole 2 scores or 3 scores because, hey, man, why don't you come out the gate and just fire it down the grass? Like, no, bro. We did that Chicago. The only difference is these past 2 games, we executing them plays down the grass, right? But as a defender, you think of all of that. So I didn't have a lot of issues with how the offense had the slow burn as long as you're not turning the ball over in your winning field position. And those are the 2 things that we still did in the first half. A lot of the Dolphins' possessions were still on their side of the 50. You can win like that. You're fine with that. And we saw the scoreboard reflect that, 7-3. And at that point, it was like they hadn't done anything crazy. We had a couple of options, but hey, man, we had a drive stall or 2. Okay. And I also thought first half, this goes back to what you said early on, TaNeisha, the Dolphins weren't as cold. So you watched them in that first series, the first quarter. Look at how well they tackled on the edge. It's a throw the kid of the Gainwell on the first 3rd down. And Gainwell makes that guy miss in the second half, right? First half, that dude makes that tackle, no yak. I'm like, ooh. And I remember texting, I'm like, hey, bro, talk to the homies. I'm like, hey, man, if they gonna tackle like that, this could get interesting tonight. But you saw as the game went on, what they said, Tua, no jacket at all the first 2 series. Now all of a sudden they said Tua's put the coat on. I said, we got him now.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Like in games like that, man, the first team that gets cold, you're out of it because now you're worried about the elements instead of what's actually taking place on this field. And you saw that with the Dolphins. But when you protect the football the way that we did, 1-0 in the turnover margin, that was all it took. Because the turnover, even if it's an arm punt, we know what it does for momentum. We know what it does when you have to watch it and you see it and we feel it. And that's the part where it's like, we never gave the Dolphins any hope, any lifeline, hey, man, feel some confidence. And that's what we got to keep going with this thing, man. So I was definitely enjoying that part. Mark, I got to ask, though, and we about to get you a half baked because I can't wait. I was thinking, I was brushing my teeth, doing my hair and everything. And I'm like, I know he got something good for us today. I know Mark going to have us something good, baby. So trust me, I can't wait. All right. But in terms of the takeaways offensively, some of the things that stood out and some of the things that you want improved upon going forward as well.
The first half, and this was the Steelers' 64th game. 7 points or fewer in the first quarter. Man,
talk your talk, Mark. Talk your talk. I'm with you.
We're stepping on my half-baked question. It's like, okay, so this game was at Acrisure Stadium, right?
Yeah.
Can they just put like a cardboard cutout over where it says, like on the digital scoreboard, it say first quarter? Can we just like patch one on that says second quarter in the first half to trick the Steelers to know it's like, hey, you're allowed to score a touchdown? Is this something that we can allow for? At least at home, like on the road, I understand you don't control the. When the Steelers are on offense at Acrisure Stadium, there should be a cardboard cutout you can put over where it says what quarter you're in. Just put a 2 there, put some sticky tape over it, and that way Pittsburgh can score some touchdowns.
I feel you. I feel you.
We're a slow burn. Like that's just. It's kind of when you're in a relationship and you kind of realize what they are and aren't, and you're like, okay, all right, like that's just who we are, for better or for worse. Because last night I felt like I looked at the TV when it was like 3 minutes, I think, in the first quarter, and I was like, why am I expecting that? Why am I what? It's me. I'm the problem. Why are my expectations like this? Like, it's not until they show me they can do it, I can't believe them.
Arthur, do not lie to us. As a defensive player, you were probably loving the first half. Low scoring.
Are you serious? Come on, bro. I had heart eyes everywhere in the text. It's like, yo, you see that? I'm like, bro, this is so beautiful right now. We're smashing the run. A-Chain is feeling all of these big boy hits. And we had popped Tua a couple of times already in the first. I was just like, yo, defense showed up. And that's always, the we had all the investments over there. And for me, that's the side I'm most passionate about anyway. So I'm always looking at them the way that, think about, Mark, how you talk about time possession, how you harp on certain things. That's how I feel about our defense. It's like, yo, I want perfection. Like, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm always a little bit like, all right, don't warm up to it now. We ain't got the guys out there. So what the newer guys gonna look like? But bro, the way they was playing that first half, I said, bro, it's 7-3. This is a great first half. I said, literally great first half. I was loving it, man. Absolutely loving it.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm at home like, oh, here goes this offense. God, I hope they come back in the second half. But I did. I tweeted. I was like 7-3. Steelers up.
You said come back in the second half. Which I was like, when are we coming back from? We were up the whole. It was 7-3.
No, I was talking about the offense. I was hoping they could like get going. Because I think too, because it like I don't mind being in like stressful situations when the game is like in the middle of the day. When I know I'm going to have to like shower and go to bed, I don't need it to be like anxious because it takes so long for me to come down off of that. So I selfishly was like, oh, please.
Mark,
anyways, and then
they took 4 minutes off that drive, 4 minutes to score for halftime, and they came right back and scored again. I'm like, oh, bro, what? Come on, man. Rodgers is walking him down. I'm like, walk him down, Rodgers. Walk him down, Rodgers. Walk him down. And then we were very intentional about taking our time scoring as well. I don't know if you guys do that. All right.
The clock management this year.
We made sure that we left with 14 seconds. And then Mark, can you talk about the Dolphins clock management in that second half, please? What were your thoughts on the Dolphins in their urgency or lack thereof timeout usage, but then kick all the onside kicks and 2-point conversions? What was your thoughts on all that?
Well, to TaNeisha's point, when you're talking about like the stress, the anxiety, the moment where, okay, the Dolphins scored the touchdown, they went for the 2-point conversion and they don't convert, even when they scored again and then failed to get the 2-point conversion again, after that first 2-point conversion failed, I'm like, this is over. Like I'm fine. Like it was probably the most relaxed I've been watching a Steelers game this season, where I'm like, this is well in hand, even despite the fact that it was a very, very slow start in the first half. And so, again, going back to when you're chasing a deficit and you don't have clock and you only have limited possessions left, you've got to pass the ball. And Tua, when you have to rely on him and the weather's cold, again, credit Pittsburgh. At the same time, I'm not taking too much away from this because the Dolphins are what they are. Certainly you needed this win, and it's a very important AFC win as well, because when you look at the weeks ahead of, okay, Detroit this coming week, and I'm not going to say you can't just totally not show up, but in terms of actually clinching the division and getting to the postseason, just the way everything shakes out, I got to pull it up. But even if the Steelers win and the Steelers lose and the Ravens win, it doesn't really impact the playoff picture. I'll pull that up here while you guys hop in here. But
it's basically
the Dolphins. It's the Dolphins.
Yeah, I read this morning that the Steelers could lose. They have to beat the Ravens. That's what this is all going to come down to, unless the Ravens drop a game against somebody in the AFC. But even though
I got it here. So the Steelers can't clinch next week, even with the win at Detroit and a Ravens loss to New England. The Steelers could clinch before the final week of the season if the Ravens lose against Green Bay and New England, and the Steelers win at least one game versus Detroit or Cleveland, or if the Steelers win against both Detroit and Cleveland and the Ravens lose one. So that's the path moving forward. Obviously, it could say, hey, all the marbles are on the line for the regular season finale, and knowing Pittsburgh, that could very well be the case, but we'll see. We'll see. And Pittsburgh's in a good position, being a game up now atop the AFC North. And it's like, I'd much rather be in these shoes versus if you had lost against a Miami Dolphins team that just, they're not on the same level of Pittsburgh. Say what you want about the Steelers this season. To me, they're on different tiers in terms of where they're at this point in the season as teams. That's just my 2 cents worth.
I'm just glad that we won, because over the past 5 weeks, I think nationally and locally, 2 totally different conversations about Dolphins and Steelers.
Absolutely.
I'm with you though, Mark. I am. Trust me, I'm with you because I don't really care about the Dolphins. You know, that's that. Take it back to my Bills days. But you go back past 5 weeks, Steelers and Dolphins narrative, locally, nationally. Heck, the last time the Steelers were at home, they got booed. Renegade got booed. Coach Simon was saying getting fired. That was literally the last time they were at home, man. Dolphins have not even been close to that conversation, man. In fact, they was having totally different conversations about Dolphins. Hey, man, these guys are playing their jobs. Hey, man, they've shown that, all right, you fired this GM, that lit a spark under them, and now they are back. They are ready to go. We even joke. We say, yeah, they play like they want to stay in Miami. They like they're ready to get back to Miami last night, though, right? So I'm just like, yo, I get it. I hear it. But yeah, man.
The ghost of Don Shula's not walking through that door. I just like...
They
lived
were
in Florida
firing
for
Coach T 2 weeks ago. Mark, 2 weeks ago, Coach Tom was supposed to be fired.
And when they were still leading the division, mind you, as well.
And it's week 16, and they're still in first place in the division, and we're acting as if, hey, what if we don't? What if we get... Like, we're in the driver's seat. We have been this whole time. Even the conversation about the game. It's like, yo, can we get it? It's like, yo, we were winning.
It's the frustrations of the offense. And to me, it's a whole different conversation. When you talk about the Dolphins, I lived in Florida for 5 years. I was on the Tampa side. But they've been trying to get the Dolphins to be something for so many years. And it's like, well, you could go down to Florida. And there's no state income tax. We can get it rolling. That organization, Arthur. See, Arthur's Buffalo Bills background's cracking up. They've been trying to get this right for a quarter century now.
It's been for a while.
So if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you're saying, oh, well, we've got to go back to January of 2017, the 2016 season for the last time we won a playoff game. The Dolphins, that whole organization's like, hey, Pittsburgh, hold my beer.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. If we want to be real with what's going on right now.
Yeah. I dig it. I definitely dig it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just cut right to you, baby. Talk to me, Mark. I know you got me.
All right.
Give me something good, baby. Let's ride.
I want TaNeisha to go first. And again, this is Mark Bergin's half-baked Steelers questions and ideas.
Let's go.
It's the first time I felt this way. Did you really miss TJ Watt last night? It's the first time I felt that way watching a Steelers game. TaNeisha, what say you?
Well, I'm the lone person. Or remember last time you asked, like, is he on a decline? And I was like, yes. We're like, So I think what happens sometimes though is whenever your anchor is not there, it allows for other people to step in and play. And do the Steelers need TJ Watt? Yes. And also, I think there's moments where they will be okay for a little bit without him because other guys are able to fill that hole. And the other thing I was watching, I'm glad you add this. I was watching. So usually before the games, I don't look at the Steelers on Twitter. I kind of like out of sight, out of mind and act like I don't know that there's a game coming in 4.5 hours, right? I try to act like I don't know what's happening. I purposely watched to see pregame stuff to see who led all the stuff that TJ did. And I purposely was trying to see like their vibe on the defense to see what I could pick up. And Highsmith was ready for the moment. And I knew then, I was like, TJ's done a great job preparing his team because he's the leader. He's the guy, right? He's making $40 million. He's the guy. He's done a great job preparing them to go to battle without him. And that doesn't mean they don't need him. I missed him a little bit. He needs to come back. But last night it worked because I thought that they were playing for him because of his leadership. So did I think they missed him last night? No. But I think, will they eventually miss him? Yes. The longer they play without him, they're going to miss him. But right now, it's new. Right now, it's like your new boo, your new date, your new person you're dating. You don't miss the old one yet. He's okay. It's okay. He's fine for now. That's kind of how I feel right now with TJ. The longer he's out, I think it's going to get more visual. But I think right now we're okay.
No, that's real. And I do agree they were playing for him. You could see with Cam Hayward's sack celebration. At first, I was like, oh, that's the Peasy kick. And I'm like, no, that's TJ. That's the TJ one. Hopefully my dog, is recovering. Yeah, crazy, right? Crazy. But what I would say is this. Did they miss him last night? No. And part of that has been due to, just the conversations of how he's been introduced to playing here. He came in 2017 and it was rotation, right? Don't be afraid to give other guys opportunities. You don't have to play 100 snaps and 40 of them be loafs, bad plays, just because you have to be out there because the crowd says you're supposed to be out there. It's okay to come off the field. And by doing that, we've seen the likes of a Nick Herbig be able to have make plays, right, and have a role. We've seen Alex Highsmith throughout his years, right, make plays, have a role. We saw Mark Ingram have make plays, have a role. We go down the list of all these different players that we've seen at some point in time come in while TJ has been here and have success. And that goes to what you're saying, TaNeisha, in terms of his leadership and his humility and trust for his guys. Because most $40 million dudes don't come off the field. They're like, I'm not ever coming off the field. I'd rather be tired and me jogging is better than you being full strength 100%. TJ doesn't have that mindset. So that's why when he's not out there, last night you could still see where Herbig and Highsmith played with confidence, played fast, and made plays. You could see where Jack Sawyer was able to come out there and make some plays. And those are the things that it just starts with that mindset. But I would also piggyback, going back to what you were saying, TaNeisha, this also coincides with the conversation and the question that you asked me a week ago. Are the Dolphins better offensively without Tyreek Hill? And I said, no, they're not. Yes, you can spread the ball around. Yes, it opens up the opportunity where you don't have to get this guy 5 to 7 or 10 plus intentional plays. But offensively, and Mark, you brought this up, when you limit the rest, that is where Tyreek Hill comes into play. Because defensively, we couldn't run the defense that we were running if Tyreek Hill is out there.
Yep.
You want to play man-to-man single high with Tyreek? Good luck, right? You can't. So that's the other part of why that rushing attack cooks you, and then the play action pass and all those smoke and mirrors, window dressing they do behind, the line of scrimmage, it really hurts you. So for us, I look at TJ in a very similar fashion. Yes, right now in this game, yeah, because we're able to make it one-dimensional, Tua really struggles to read it. Yeah, it was perfect storm. But there are going to be some games where you're going to need that man with that cape. That's why you pay him $40 million. If he was that easily to replace, you wouldn't pay him $40 million. I promise. Like, if we could just, it's the reason why running backs don't get $40 million, right? Because we feel like, hey, Jaylen Warren can replace a Najee Harris, and a Kenneth Gainwell can come in here and give us Jaylen Warren, right? And we're looking at Caleb Johnson like, how long until you're ready to become another guy? We don't feel like that necessarily about pass rushers. It's like, yo, if you can do that and you're doing it at that type of level, you're special. And to me, that's what TJ Watt is. So short answer, we didn't miss him this week. But long answer, yeah, the longer he's out, I do feel like we will feel that stress.
4 sacks of Tua, and Herbig had 1 tackle. Highsmith had 2. Should have had the interception as well. TJ Watt statistically on pace for his lowest output since his rookie year, even though he was on track to surpass the amount of snaps he's played defensively. So inadvertently, if he can come back, maybe resting him down the stretch and having him fresh down the stretch could help Pittsburgh. Again, half-baked idea, but I go back to Tua. And so why do I go back to Tua? TJ Watt typically lines up over an opposing team's right tackle. To me, this is very deliberately done by Mike Tomlin, Terrell Austin, anyone involved with the Steelers defense. Because most quarterbacks in the NFL are right-handed. TJ Watt is like a magnet to the football, and it's not just the sacks or the strip sacks.
It's batting
passes. It is intercepting the ball at the line of scrimmage, which I've never seen a player do it quite like him.
Yeah.
Tua's left-handed. So everything is the opposite. So I also think that is a part of this conversation too. Obviously, you want your $40 million player out there, but this was one position maybe other than tight end with Pittsburgh where I'm like, at least for this week, I'm not really tripping on it because I have confidence in both Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig off the edge. But yeah, that was my half-baked question. But it's like,
I like that.
This was the first time though where in previous seasons when Watt has been out, it has been noticeable when he's been off the field and not playing. This was the first time where it was like, it's almost as if the Steelers defense didn't miss a beat. It's a one-game sample, but this is the first time we're just watching it. I felt that way versus when Watt has had injuries in previous seasons, and it's not that common because he stays relatively healthy. Statistically, they were worse, and the eye test, they were worse. I didn't think they were worse last night at all. I didn't think they missed a beat, at least for last night's game.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I think this is just what, second win when TJ's not been in the lineup. I think it was like we're like 1-11 or something like that. So now we're like 2-11. So shout out to finding a way. And see, that's what happens when, you know, we named all these other guys, but you better name them at 93. Azezi Adamiwo, all right? 3 tackles, sack, tackle for loss, push respect, QB hit, push respect on all these guys we naming over here, all right? He was making plays last night. Yeah, shout out to the depth, all right? Shout out to the guys.
I pride myself on, like, knowing my team. Like, I just pride, like, I think it's important. And when he got the sack, I literally go, who? Wait. Did they get that? Because I thought they messed up. I was like, who are they naming? And I was like, and I just, like, for transparency, I love Troy Aikman. I think he's the most honest broadcast. Like, he's like, this is terrible.
Troy
like, that clock meeting was terrible.
Night.
The Dolphins clock meeting was so bad. Like, what are they thinking? This is embarrassing. How shame on, like, I'm like, I love Troy Aikman. Like, Troy Aikman, his commentating, I'll listen to him any day. But I was like, oh, they messed up. They messed up. Who? He's on I hit my mic and everything. Yeah, no, I did. I was you guys, I had no clue. Like, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I seriously, and because I'm one of those people too, I'm like, okay, TJ's not in, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, who's going to step in for him? And I already know, right? In my mind, I already know who's going to step in for them. So when he made the play, I was like, I wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready. I haven't heard it. I haven't felt it. It was a moment for me. So yeah, last night I was like, 93. Oh my God, who is that guy? And now I know, like, he's from Minnesota and he was drafted. Like, of course, now I'm doing all the things, but I'm like, but also that speaks to back to coaching. That is coaching. That is coaching, having the next guy ready. That is coaching. All season we've seen TJ Watt come off the field. And some people have been like, why is TJ Watt coming off the field? That's why we're not good, because TJ Watt's coming off the field. And now, though, that's what that was, is these guys stepped in because they knew their opportunity was here, because they've kind of got a taste of it throughout the season. We've been talking about Jack Sawyer since week 2, week 3, kind of stepping in there kind of and disappearing. And again, that is a coaching thing. The coaches have gotten these guys ready to go, and now the players obviously have to make the plays, but they looked ready. They looked prepared.
Well, shoot, just to piggyback on that, not just Azezi, right? Because we know he was obviously able to make some plays and make some loud plays in the game, but we used guys that hadn't even been dressing for multiple weeks and had to step up and make plays or be a part of this defense. Logan Lee was out there. We talk about DeMarvin Leal. That's a guy that hadn't been having a helmet since, I think, the Patriots game, right? He was out there also a part of that unit, a part of that stopping the run defense and stuff like that. So it was certain players that, it's like, the guys that maybe are more familiar with the rotation, we know those guys, but it was also cool to see some of the other guys that sometimes have been forgotten getting those opportunities as well, man.
I got to give another player a shout out to, otherwise they're going to revoke my residency here in Raleigh. Peyton Wilson chasing down Tua Tagovailoa. It was like a lion hunting prey. It's beautiful to watch. That's what, when you talk about Peyton Wilson, his speed, that's what you saw on display on that play, where it's just like, it is a refusal play to the echo of the whistle, but it's just like, you know what, I'm going to go chase down a ball carrier, even if it's a skill position player, whether it be a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, where it's like that motor. We saw that on display on the sack, because I thought Tua was going to be able to get rid of it and live to see another down. It was like not so fast with Wilson chasing after him. So, I want to stay in Raleigh, so I had to give the NC State
to get your free beers at the bar.
There it is. Shout out to Peyton Wilson, man. No, big fan of what he's been doing, man. All right. So, couple things then before we get up out of here. You know, we got to talk the coaches, right? Because we know coaches have always been under fire. And I've already talked about Coach Tomlin in terms of the top 10 most wins in the NFL regular season. Yes, it's 191 of them things. Only doing it in, what was it, 18 years now? Or excuse me, 19 years now. Oh, man, it's just surpassing Dan Reeves, did it in 23 years. 2 games behind Chuck Noholster, did it in 23 years. It's a lot of 20-plus years list, guys on that list. But shout out to Coach T. But Mark, how'd you feel Arthur Smith, Terrell Loss did, the coaching staff, versus, the Dolphins and their coaching staff last night?
I mentioned the creativity of Smith with the rushing game, getting the tight ends involved. Can Pittsburgh always play on Monday Night Football? Mike Tomlin seems to get his team ready. It's incredible. What is it? What is it, like 23 straight
undefeated at the crib? Baby.
home
Don't lose at the
games
home.
on Monday Night
Not
Football?
on Monday night.
Last Steelers lost October 14th, 1991. Last home loss on Monday Night Football. To me, okay, the coaching and everything, like Mike McDaniel and his future, I think those conversations re-emerge now because when he was brought in to be this prolific offensive genius, and I mean, you don't score 70 points in an NFL game if you're not. But again, it goes back to once it gets into late in the season, meaningful football, November, December, January, when you're playing your most important games, they haven't showed up. Again, if you're thinking I'm making too big of a deal of this, 0-14 streak when it's 40 degrees or below, that includes playoffs. Tua's 0-6 as a starter, 40 degrees or below. 4-13 in prime time under Mike McDaniel. This is a team that got eliminated from the playoffs again. Again, you got to go back a quarter century since you've last won a playoff game. That's not what he was brought in to do. He was brought in to help take Miami back over the top. That hasn't happened. We'll see if he retains his job or not. Again, you could point to injury. Every team could point to injuries at this point. Yeah, but those conversations before that 4-game winning streak is Mike McDaniel going to get fired mid-season? I think reemerged where after, once you get into the offseason, it's like, okay, what's his future in Miami? I think that's an honest conversation. McDaniel will be a coach somewhere in the league, whether it's as a head coach again if he loses his job or is like the best offensive coordinator that you can get, because certainly he has that mind. But to me, his fortune is tied with Tua, and we can just keep making excuses for it. To me, that to me is the story from last night. So yes, I'm excited Pittsburgh won, but it's like I don't know how much I can really, really take away because I know the limitations that Tua has as a quarterback. And for better or for worse, Mike McDaniel's future is tied for him because even if he keeps his job for another year, the Dolphins don't have an out with Tua at the quarterback position until the 2027 season contractually. And that was just on full display last night, in my opinion.
TaNeisha?
So, first of all, yellow end zones on Monday night.
You see it. You see it.
Fabulous.
Let's go.
Fabulous. Color rush on Monday night. Fabulous. So I just need to give a shout out to the yellow end zones, the color rush, all of that. So shout out to that. Coaching. I thought this is because this happens in college football so much, and I call it all the time. Mike McDaniel's lost this game for his team when he did not come out and run the ball over and 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 over. I've watched them play the past few weeks, and that is what he's done for his team. This week he came out and he thought he was going to get a little bit cute with it. I thought he messed up when he got the football to put our defense out on the field. I think that was the first mistake he made at the game. And I don't know what their game plan was, but I'm glad that was their game plan because I think he took them out of what I saw them do really the past 7 weeks, not even just 4 weeks. Even the games they were losing, they at least were looking better. I thought he impacted his team in a negative way when he got the ball, and I thought he impacted them in a negative way when he wasn't just running the ball over and over and over, making the Steelers stop it. Now, flip side of that, Steelers benefited because we took advantage of it. If they're not going to do what they're great at, that's not my problem. Like, I'll just get stops and we'll just run off the field. And so I thought this was one of the most complete games I've seen the Steelers play. I will be honest and say I don't study or watch other teams like I watch the Steelers. The 3-and-out thing, it's still a problem. We had 4 this game. Out of 9 possessions, we still had 4 3-and-outs. I don't know if that's normal across all NFL teams, so I just need to say it. But I thought this game, for me, was the first time where I thought, I understand now what we're trying to do, and I see what it looks like when it looks good and when it's working. And I loved that. And I love that I don't even have to talk about special teams because they just did their jobs. They showed up and they took care of business, and great, because the offense is doing what the offense is supposed to do and the defense is doing what it's supposed to do. I didn't even have to see Boz attempt a 37-yard field goal or whatever, because all he needed to do is make extra points. And shout out to him for doing that. He's fantastic. Thank you, Boz. He needs to go to the Pro Bowl. Anyways, so yeah, I thought I was really happy with the way they came out. I have been very happy to see the way they've responded the past 2 weeks. when everybody was counting them out, when everybody said they didn't have a chance, and everybody said they were washed, old, overpaid, terrible, fire the coach. We have too many tight ends. Our defensive line is bad. Trade them all. We're so awful. Kudos to them for showing up.
Yeah, and I agree with both of you. I think both of y'all were spot on. Mark, I love everything that you said in terms of, the conversations now going forward, right? And you emphasized, you say, 4 weeks ago, them conversations had died, right? When he started to win, we started to get it hot. And you mean to tell me that Pittsburgh was the only team to be able to get it back the way that we like it? Oh, baby. Yeah. I'm excited to hear that because it lets me know that we are different. It lets me know that we are different than the Saints, right? Because people talk about us and perceive us as if we are that. They talk about us and perceive us as if we're the Commanders. They act as if, well, we know we're not the Bills, right? Because we saw how they beat us. But remember, this same Dolphins team in this span put 30 up on the Bills and held them to 13 points. So, yeah, I mean, shoot, I got to go back. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They won 5 of their last 6 prior to playing us, and they scored 34, 34, 30. You catch what I'm saying? I get all that, and I'm like, yeah, baby. The fact that the conversation has now took that hard left, the fact that we done bust that U in the middle of the road, I feel like I'm playing GTA. Man, I done pulled the E-brake. Oh, wait a minute. Dolphins suck again. That's how it's supposed to be. I ain't got no issues with that at all, baby. I promise I don't. I like that. That lets me know that Arthur Smith did what he was supposed to do, right? Second half, Pound Town, right? It lets me know that Terrell Austin, even when they got cute and took the ball first with the Dolphins, and they made such a point of emphasis about that first play being play action pass. And Mark, I'm over here like, I am so happy. If you want to throw that ball with Tua tonight, baby, go for it. The hardest thing to do when it gets cold is throw the football. That's why we put so much emphasis on running the ball and playing defense. December, it is hard to catch that rock, man. It's hard to throw that rock. The air feels different. So that's the biggest reason why you have to be able to run the ball, play defense, win the turnover battle. And once again, we showed that, hey, you can play all that cute ball, all that exciting ball, all that ball that gets the people going during that winning span. But when we can get you to the game that we want to have, which is the phone booth, which is let's go see who can take more punches in the face, right? That's what we're built for. It's not the prettiest. At times it's going to make you feel real sick to your stomach, right? You can be like, oh my God, why we got to watch this? But you hear us talk about it all the time. You don't blink, right? You got to be able to just keep showing up and never feel like you're out of it. No matter what it, never feel like you're out of it. Because this team should have been checked out, right? 4 or 5 weeks ago. Heck, when we talked about just 3 weeks ago at the crib, Bills game. It's supposed to have been done then. So the fact that they're responding the way that they responded and versus a team that, as you said it yourself, babe, yeah, they was like, he didn't say his job. He didn't get it right. It was the GM. That was the reason why they was bad. Not McDaniel. So when I see all this now, and now there's the new conversation, I'm like, yep. Shout out to the coaching staff, man, because they had the guys prepared and they did it for 4 quarters. And in all 3 phases, man, executed the way that we needed to. So I'm in agreement, man, wholeheartedly, man. So I like that. I definitely do.
Yeah, I just pulled up the series for the Dolphins. So they did 20-yard pass was the first play of the game. And then they tried to pass again. Then they had a 4-yard run, then incomplete punt. Then the next one, 6-yard run, 15-yard run, 10-yard pass, interception. Who are you guys? Run the football. Like, again, that's a coaching thing. And I see it more in college than I do in the NFL. Usually NFL coaches come out and do the thing that's been working for their team that's been winning. That actually shocked me that's how that offense came. That is what they practiced this week, was coming out and throwing the ball against the Steelers.
They practiced this in the snow.
What was it, 17 degrees?
It felt like negative 17 degrees. Sorry, I'm just throwing out.
Tua's not the type of quarterback who can throw through really cold wind. The old analogy I always heard is he could throw the ball through a car wash and it doesn't get wet. Tua doesn't have that type. He does not have that type of arm strength. Yeah. He doesn't.
Yeah. And yet his head coach was like, we're going to throw it. We're going to beat the Steelers at our game. No. Anyways, I don't think he did them any favors yesterday. And I think he, obviously the players played, but he didn't get them in position to win. He didn't get them in position to do what they need.
He's gotten them to play hard the last few weeks coming into this game. So, like,
I don't know what happened.
To me, more of the blame goes like if Tua was my quarterback, you just know, even if you limp into the playoffs, you're not like against the best of the best, you're going to be hamstrung because he's so limited in what he can do. And like coupled with the fact that, I mean, I hope that this doesn't happen to him. I don't wish injury on any player. He's one hit away from being done.
Those concussions.
Yeah.
He's one hit away from being like done as an NFL quarterback. And I say that, but just like that's who, for better or for worse, the Dolphins are tied to. And again, they don't have an out with his contract till 2027. So they still have a full other season, whether McDaniel is there or not. And I mean, yeah, Tyreek Hill's out, but okay, sometimes
that ain't coming back next year.
No,
that ain't back next year.
No. A good quarterback, what I've seen from Rodgers this year, and he's not what he was in Green Bay, but a good quarterback can mask a lot of your team's deficiencies. You saw it with Roethlisberger, even at the end when he came back post-elbow, where it's like, okay, this is what a Hall of Fame quarterback looks like, and they could turn back the clock for a week or two. They can. To me, it's just such a stark contrast when you go from the Steelers on offense to the Dolphins on offense when you were watching last night's game. It really, really stuck out to me when I was watching.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
Bet. Mm-hmm.
When I was watching, I was like, "Is there a way we could just get the running back? Can we just take him? Like, can we just take him with us?
Yeah.
Like, can we just say, hey, all of that is great. Thank you for being here. We'll take you and you. Come on, like, just come and be a part of our team. Come and complete
you said
us.
The running back. I was like, can we get A-Chain? Can I get a Darren Waller in there? I don't mind a Jalen Waller. You could throw that over here. I'm just like, we could. You know, we like tight ends. Come on, bro.
I was just saying, I'm like, gosh, what I would do to have him on the Steelers, like, but anyway, I feel like that sometimes when I play some of these teams, I'm like, oh my god, can we have that running back?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, every time we play the Ravens, I'm like, give us Derrick Henry. I know we would use him correctly.
I also
he will for sure get the ball. Yep.
I also love Rodgers' role on the tush push as just statue cheerleader. It's hilarious.
Why is he even out there? Is it a disadvantage to have him? Well, I haven't studied the play actually. So I guess only certain guys are in the middle.
Some sort of
pushing.
trick play that they could run with him being back there. I don't know if like saying like, oh, we're lined up to tush push, but we're gonna, I don't know, like
pitch it back to him so he can throw it to somebody or something.
Something like
that.
Okay,
fair.
So it sounds like based on what both of you just spent 2 minutes doing, it's working. It's something for you to think about.
Yeah, because
that's all I'm looking for.
I think about it often.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're a defender, we're basically just trying to make it where you can't sell out to jump over the pile and hit my guy in his head. Because I've already handed off the game well one time. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers is back here this whole time. At some point, even if we never put it on camera, you have to respect it because it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And we've already shown you that we will deviate away, right? And not just us. We saw, I think it was it Baltimore? I think it was, or it was a Baltimore, Philly. They also had a little variation off of their push. So it's like,
yes, it was Philly. Right. Yeah.
So to me, this is just another thing that, hey, we talk about evolution. Can you, as a coach, evolve and be thoughtfully progressive with this? That's all that is to me. And Rodgers, he's playing it up until the one time he doesn't. And now I got you where I need to have you. But to me, that's how I'm perceiving it. Because as a defender, the conversation prior to this year was, all right, man, look, if they're going to just keep running this, you need to do it like Frankie Louvu with the Commanders versus the Eagles NFC Championship. Just keep jumping over top because that's all they're going to do. If it's Buffalo, they're going to go off the left guard, right? This is the first year we're starting to see just variations off of it now. So I just think that, this is how we're doing it. And it just, everything is working a part of it. And it kind of goes with Arthur Smith. I'm going to give you some of this look, but then I'm going to run this. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors, but it's basic call right here. Yeah. Just to slow you down. That's all it is.
Speaking of smoke and mirrors.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you all see how when Darnell Washington catches the ball, the defenders are like
big dude,
like, we're not running at this dude. What is he going to do? Like, I don't know. Just watching him catch the ball, him turning, and then looking at the defenders, they're all kind of like, and again, it's just that little bitty thing that makes them think for 1 second, like, I'm not running at him. Is he going to lower his shoulders? And I love watching how they're trying to figure out how to bring him down and what works. So anyways, I just wanted, I recognized that last night. They were all just like, oh God, he's huge. So it was nice seeing that reaction.
His refusal to be tackled is pretty special. And I thought it actually kind of rallied Pittsburgh a little bit, where it's like, okay, let's do this. Let's go for this. And getting him the football. I almost suggested where it's like, okay, Jonnu Smith can get a rushing touchdown. Connor Hayward could get a rushing touchdown. Could you use Darnell Washington in that same capacity? I don't want him getting hurt out in the open field. Like get him a little bit more space versus within the box. But it's just like
when it
got
happens,
me thinking,
Mark, I'm blaming you.
when the ball is in his hand, it's like it's almost like he's like Paul Bunyan out there, because no one actually wants to tackle him. He's just so much bigger than any of the defenders around him.
I would say part of that is due to how Arthur Smith schemes it up. He does get it where, he's out in space versus little DBs. When you put him in the backfield, that shifts a lot. And that's the thing with Jonnu Smith, his acceleration. And you saw that on the touchdown. It's like, when you're out the dot out that backfield, you got to have that stop and go. You got to be able to get it going a little bit sooner.
Other big guys are.
Yep. So, because in there, we're like, most DBs are like, yo, Darnell Washington, oh my God. You know, us crazy LBs, I'm like, oh, that's going to sleep. Like, that's just how we view it. It's like, yo, it ain't fast enough. You taking too much time, I'm going to bomb you. Like, that's just how, who knows, different. Right? But it's just different mindset. Whereas that DB, they're like, bro, that dude got like 60 pounds on me, bro. Like, they said he's 300 pounds, right? Allegedly. Yeah. So if you're a 200-pound DB, he has 100 pounds on you. 200 pounds of a DB, you're a safety. Think about the corner that's about $185. Right? You think about that slack when he's like, yo, that's a big. So that's why it looks like that. And that's the part where Arthur Smith understands, yo, that's how you want that. Jonnu Smith, on the other hand, it's like, yo, you're fast enough with some size that you can give an LB like me some issues because you can step around a guy. It's not just a power thing, and that's the difference with it. But Muth is more route run, right? Little agility, but it's still a different flavor than a Jonnu Smith and even a Connor Hayward. And that's why you see more of them in the backfield getting those plays. Whereas you look at how Muth and how Darnell are used, it's typically down the grass, true traditional pass plays. And now you're watching them get the yak afterwards. So that's the only thing I was like, I'm listening. I'm like, don't put Darnell in that backfield, baby. Don't do that to that man.
Big man running, little man hitting. It goes back to that.
There you go. Yep, there you go. Yep.
I love that.
So that's the conflict that we're trying to create offensively. And that's what you see with our personnel groupings. We want to get our bigger guys on their little guys. So it can look like DK mushing people. It can look like Darnell when them dudes start jumping out the way. It's like, I don't want to hit that. We talked about just a week ago with Marlon Humphrey. He was like, Trey White with the Bills. He was like, It's like, you see, it's very obvious what's going on. But that's why it's happening like that. So heck yeah.
I love it. The other thing is, too, a shout out to the Steelers, the entire team for rallying over for Minkah when he was down the field. I love just seeing not only the Steelers bench clear, even obviously Coach Tomlin always goes over there and shows his respect, but it's just a reminder sometimes, and this is the last thing I'll say, is it's just a reminder sometimes that even though things don't work out business-wise, they're still human, they're still people, there's still that brotherhood of love and respect and admiration for the job that you do on the field. As fans, we can't feel it or relate to it because we don't have the experience, but it's nice to be reminded when a guy that used to play for you gets traded, goes down, and everybody on the sideline, our sideline, was concerned. And it's like that humility of people that we sometimes forget that exist in the world. And it was nice to see that on display. I just loved, I think there were more Steelers players and personnel that were on the field, like making sure he was okay. Then the Dolphins were kind of like, I'm not saying they didn't care, but I'm just saying, like, it's just a reminder that, like, they cared. And that was, they cared about Minkah in that moment as a brother, as a friend, all the things he was to this organization. And I just thought that was great to see.
Yeah, it's a certain bond, man, when you're in that locker room. Obviously, here in Pittsburgh specifically, it's even more special. And you remember, man, Minkah was here for a while. Minkah made a ton of plays, but Minkah was here through some good and some rough times, man. And you get a certain level of just closeness. And it's like, it doesn't matter what that player may do going forward. You're always going to remember those years, those moments. And that's, at times what we even talk about with the AB situation, it's like, publicly, it's like, yo, this dude is off the rails, but you can never forget being in that locker room and bleeding with the guy. You talk about, I was like, yo, when you're in that locker room bleeding with dudes, man, it's just a certain level of connection that is just so hard to explain. Like you said, it becomes your brother, even without you having any blood relation, just because what you're willing to sacrifice for each other and do it on a continual basis. But the final thing that I have for you both, since we did win, right? We always talk about game balls. That's what they give out when you win. Oh man, he gets a game ball. He gets a game ball. Just offensively and defensively, who were maybe 2 to 3 people that stood out to you on each side, respectively, that you would be like, yo, man, here, you get this game ball this week. Who are you guys? Who are you people?
Ooh. I'd start with Rodgers. Again because the last 2 weeks, it's a safe pick, but only 4 incompletions, primetime Monday Night Football. And I don't think that they particularly played all of that well in the first half, but then finally putting it all together, the very last drive at the end of the first half, understanding you're going to get the ball back, and then finally showing up in the third quarter and having 2 straight touchdown drives to start the third quarter too. I'll go Rodgers and spreading the ball around a bit too. I mean, I don't think it was really one player or another, but just great efficiency in the passing game too. We didn't mention Gainwell, 7 catches on all 7 targets out of the backfield too. He low-key is like the Steelers' number 2 receiver behind DK. I'll go Rodgers
number 1 in
again.
Targets. Say get on the targets, man.
I'll go Rodgers again. And again, I want to see more than 3 targets for DK. I like that they gave Freiermuth 5 targets, so they spread it around. But I'll go Aaron Rodgers for game ball.
Who do you got for defense?
Ooh, yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna step on Arthur's shoes here. I'm gonna go Patrick Queen.
Oh, you do it, you dirty dog. Oh, you do it. I love it. Let's go.
10 tackles, 2 TFLs. I thought he might have had his best game as a Steeler. He was everywhere. But yeah, I'll go Patrick Queen on defense. If I had to give one, I thought it was a great collective effort.
Salute.
But yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go a little bit different for different reasons. Because I mentioned him, I think I'm going to the left tackle. What was his name? 60.
Yeah, Dylan Cook. Absolutely.
Dylan Cook, because it could have fallen apart and everything, right? He wasn't holding, he wasn't false starting, he wasn't all the things. And anytime you throw in a guy Monday night, you're protecting Aaron Rodgers, left tackle, you're the 3rd guy, your first career start.
Bradley Chubb you're going against as well. Shout out to NC State.
He could have derailed a lot of things if he didn't do his job last night. So I'm going to give my game ball to people I appreciated what they did last night. So he's going to get mine on offense just to do something a little bit different. And I'm going to give my defensive guy, I'm going Cam Hayward, because I thought he was huge. I thought he was huge in being an anchor, being a leader, no TJ. The players needed somebody to rally around. Like there were moments where I was like, is he going to pull himself out of the game? He did not. And he was, again, he'll never get the stats. He'll never flash. It will never do all the things because that's not his job. But he did everything he was supposed to do. And he managed to get a sack. And he did TJ's celebration to kind of cap off the night. So I'm applauding his leadership, his stability, and his want to stop the run. I know he wanted to stop the run. I could see it coming off the screen. So I would give my game-changing players would be left tackle and Hayward.
Let's go.
Good pick.
Shout out to both of y'all, man. I feel like y'all was over here reading my notes. I'm like, Mark, you really just Patrick Queen, that's the guy. And then my next name was Cam Hayward. I'm like, really? And then I'm over on offense. I'm like, Rodgers. I'm like, yo, left tackle Cook was hooping, bro. I like what I say. Hashtags was fire. So shout out to both of y'all for that. So for me, I'm going to go with my alternative to my alternative then, okay? Can I get some Kenny G for the culture? Oh, I'm a big Kenny G guy. Oh, yeah. And for a different reason. The production has been so consistent. We talk about him running the football, passing or catching it, the physicality on display, making guys miss, and his ability to step around guys also while doing it in the cold weather, right? But it's not just that. I personally was so hot and cold about that signing. I just don't know. I feel like it's too similar to Warren. I didn't see a role for it. And the fact that he still, after week 15, is like, yo, you are clearly one of our most productive players. And you are one of our most consistent players. It's like, man, I can't ignore that. Can't do it. And it's like every time I want to act like, oh man, this game was like, no, bro. I'm over here like, yo, get Kenny G the ball. Kenny G needs the ball. All right. Like
the football player.
The football player. Yeah. No, not the other guy. Even though he's smooth too. All right. But absolutely. So for me, Kenneth Gainwell offensively, because he was once again the consistent guy, the glue guy, and kind of like that pulse offensively. Because we played through him. Running the football and receive. It's like, yo, that's the guy that we utilize a lot. So for me, that's to go offensively. And then defensively, well, it wasn't the only person that had a revenge game. I heard y'all name Minka and Jonnu Smith and all them guys. But what about Jalen Ramsey? The man was out there making tackles, had a sack, big QB hit, flying around, big boy pissed off. Hey, what'd he say to the camera? Hey, just know. All right. Family friendly show. All right. But shout out to Jalen. All right. Shout out to Jalen Warren. He was speaking my language. I said, I don't even go out here and be liking this stuff on the internet. I had to go double. I had to go click and type, put the heart on that one. All right. I support that. All right. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey. Okay.
You said it out loud too.
Yeah.
You meant it.
Yeah.
Well,
Wife
because
looking like, did he just say that?
Gainwell
Like, yes, he
too.
did.
I know going into the game too with Gainwell, Jalen Warren, I know, was battling an illness, so it wasn't even sure if he was going to play at all. So I still wish we had a running back who could tote the rock between the tackles, but man, I can keep both of you here until sundown talking about all of that.
We're going to finesse our way past this.
Yep, that's how we do it, man. Big finesse game.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. If you know your weakness, you got to play around it. Like, it's not good enough anymore to keep trying. Like, you got to do something else.
I like it. Well, final words from both of you, since we're coming off of a late night. All right, can't keep you guys too much. All right, it was late night. But it was a victory night, so shout out.
Yeah.
But final words, ladies first. TaNeisha, what you got for us?
My final word is we won. We won the game, took care of business, headed on to play the Lions. And I think this is the point in the season where you just dig in. You just dig in, stay focused, and see how they show up against the Lions. And it's like this is like one game at a time. Like, we're slow rolling this. And I am going to celebrate this win all day also, because I feel like I don't celebrate the wins enough, because I'm always like, okay, now I got to transition. Now I got to make my next video. And I'm like, no, today, all day, I'm talking trash all day. I know people that are Miami fans. I am in it. Okay. If you see me on Twitter, I don't apologize for anything you might see where I'm in somebody's comments. And I'm like, but didn't you just say? That will be me today if I see it. So I'm just letting everybody know that will be me if I see something that somebody said that's now reversing course and backpedaling. I won't say anybody's name publicly because everybody loves him. I will say something, and I will be like, that's a great backpedal. I usually say they're backpedaling like Coach Prime. So like prime time. They are backpedaling like Deion Prime Time Sanders. So that if you see me saying that today, it might be your favorite player, and I will be saying it. I don't care. So anyways, that's all I have.
What's you, Mark? What's you?
I don't know if I can top that, but I'll try.
Shots fired.
Just saying.
Now that we're into the month of December and we are unleashing hell as Pittsburgh Steelers fans, what I will say is you go into next week against Detroit. We got to practice biting off kneecaps. That's what Pittsburgh is going to be tasked with doing, and going up against a Lions team that is also fighting for their playoff lives.
Yep.
So there's that. Big win over the Dolphins on Monday night. Arthur, I got to check on you, though, because in advance of Sunday's game, James Madison, college football playoff. How you feeling, man?
Man, I feel great right now. Why wouldn't I? I don't think you realize I've been winning all weekend, man. It was a very, very exciting Sunday. Okay, it was a very, very emotionally felt Sunday for a lot of people. When you look at that score being down 21 points going into a halftime versus one of the hottest things out. So the fact that got that started, I just feel like, yo, anything is possible, right? You saw what we just did last night. We're not supposed to be able to do what we did last night, back-to-back weeks. So I'm just like, you know what? I've been hearing a lot about what we can't and what we should not, and who can't and who isn't. So shoot, what's to stop little JMU for doing it? Let's just go find out. You know, I'm team curious. Let's just find out.
If James Madison or Tulane can win one game, either of the teams, one game in the CFP, there's a lot of people that should just delete their tweets of just like, it's. I get it. I get it.
Don't encourage that, Mark. I am here for them not to delete their tweets. Allow them to stand on those tweets, Mark.
Yeah.
Show up on the freezing cold takes because that's why you play the games. That's why you play the games.
Man.
So
absolutely. Because if that's the case, we should be 0-14 by now, 0-15 if we just, never played it and we just solely went on how people feel and perceive the matchup because of what they think this coach or what they think this team should do. I'm a big guy when it comes to just hard facts. I love cold hard facts. I'm a very analytical guy. Keep it black and white. And I get it, man. Postseason, yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of conversation surrounding that, but it still doesn't change the fact that you got to win in the regular season to even get there. And my final thing is 191 regular season victories. We can name a lot of coaches. We can name a lot of your favorites. 191 victories. And then when we talk about it being 19 seasons on top of that, Google your favorites. Google all your top 10s. Google the ones that used to be in the top 10 as well. Google every coach that y'all say is better than Coach Tomlin because of X, Y, and Z. And then just go see where they hit on this list from a longevity standpoint, how quickly they've done it. And we also got big ones in there as well. It's not just regular season merchant, all right? So with that being the case, I'm just that's my energy. So I'm with you, TaNeisha. It's a party all weekend. I should have had me a 191 top 10 all-time most wins hat. You know what I mean, to go with it, because as much as we try to minimize it, Mark, what did you say about the Dolphins now? Dang, McDaniel, Flores, man, you said Shula ain't coming through that door. I'm with you on that one, right? It's like, man, we got a lot of coaches that we could name. You know how they talk more Harbaugh over in Baltimore as well. I mean, shoot, just a week ago, they was talking about maybe they should fire him. Now we'll see what that conversation shifts to, right? But all these other guys, like, 191 all included. So yeah, man. It's gonna be a great week, baby. It's gonna be a great week, all right? So that was all I had. But shout out to both of y'all, man. Hopefully y'all were able to stay warm out there and enjoy, this Monday night game. But more importantly, let's enjoy the rest of this week as well, all right? So viewers, if y'all enjoyed it, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know in the comment section how y'all feel, who stood out, offense, defense, etc. And as always, until next time, baby, peace.
Bye.